وتبين لكم كيف فعلنا بهم وضربنا لكم الأمثال صدق الله العلي العظيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي يا رب صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. My respected elders, brothers, friends, and my honorable mothers and sisters. At this very moment, we are sitting in the circle of interpretation of the Quran. The undergoing Tafseer is the Tafseer of Surah Ibrahim. The verses which I just recited before you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is drawing the picture of the events of the Day of Judgment. The day in which a father, after seeing his son, will flee. A mother, after seeing her daughter, she will flee. Everyone will be running away from one another. And there will be some people who will be walking on their foot. There will be some people who will be riding on mounts. And there will be some people who will be walking not on their feet but on their faces and heads. Our Prophet ﷺ was asked, how would this happen? How would they able to walk on their heads and faces, O Prophet of Allah? You were mentioning the groups of people on the Day of Judgment. Some will be walking on their foot, some will be riding, and some will be walking on their heads and feet, on their faces. How would this be possible? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he replied by saying, Allah Almighty, who made you or who made us to walk on our feet, that very Allah will make them walk on their faces, on their heads. And on that very day, this earth, this planet on which we are walking today, Allah Almighty clearly declares and informs us. It will relate so many things about us. Whatever I and you are doing, it is all being recorded. And the divine secret cameras are around us at all times, in many forms. There are angels who have been appointed to record our amals, our deeds. And this very body, our own body, for which we do everything, our hands, our feet, our eyes, each and every limb of our body is recording whatever we are doing it. Whatever we do, it's being recorded by our own body. And the piece of land we are standing on or sitting on is also recorded what we are doing. And then on the Day of Judgment, this piece of land will bear witness to our deeds. It will testify in the court of Allah, oh Allah, so and so, he has done this deed on this date, on this day. So we need to be very careful what we are doing, because everything is being recorded. And on that day, nothing will be beneficial to us as long as we have done our good deeds. Then we don't have to worry then. Inshallah, our good deeds which we done for the sake of Allah, they will be beneficial. They will be beneficial. My respected elders and my young brothers, we should not rely on others. What I mean is that forget doing the good deeds. People will make dua for me after my death. What guarantee do you have that they will make a dua for you? There are so many who have passed away, let alone other people, even their own close ones are not making dua for them. They don't even bother to go and visit their parents' graves. We have to do something our own selves, which will benefit us in the qabr, in the hereafter. Because when a person dies, people talk about him, how much wealth he has left behind, how many children he has, how much wealth he has left. But the angels at the very same time are talking as well, what has he sent forth? I and you talk how much he left, how much wealth he has left behind, and the angels are also talking with one another, and they're saying, this deceased, what has he sent forth? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in order to warn us, is drawing the pictures of the events of the Day of Judgment. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala particularly addressing those who are heedless. And Allah is saying, never consider Allah that He is unaware of the wrongdoers. What we are doing, He is fully aware. Nothing is hidden from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, إِنَّمَا يُؤَخِّرُهُمْ لِيَوْمٍ تَشْخَصُ فِيهِ الْأَبْصَارِ. If a wrongdoer, he is peacefully walking on this earth and nothing is happening to him, he is not being seized by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so he should never think that, I'm okay. If I'm doing something wrong, nothing is happening to me, so I should carry on, I should continue doing it. But Allah is warning, look, I am just giving you a bit of time. I am giving you a respite. And a time will come, these very eyes, tashhadu fihi al-absar. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, a time will come when this person, when I and you will be standing in the court of Allah, in terror and in fear, we will be looking up. Our eyes will be looking up. And Allah is saying that muhti'ina mukri'i ru'usihim, they will be rushing. When we will get up from our graves, when we will rise from our graves, people will be running here and there. People will be running here and there. And what will happen? Their heads will be up, they will be looking up in fear and in terror. And Allah is saying, La yartaddu ilayhim tarfuhum, their eyes will not return to them. Their eyelashes will not blink. They will be staring at one another. What has happened? Where are we now? And then Allah is saying, وَأَفْئِدَتُهُمْ هَوَىٰ, their hearts will be empty. They will not be thinking of anything. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, addressing Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَأَنذِرِ النَّاسَ يَوْمَ يَأْتِهُمُ الْعَذَابُ. Oh my beloved, you warn the people from the punishment. When فَيَقُولُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا, warn them of a day when the wrongdoers will speak to Allah, and they will make a call to Allah, and they will request to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they will say to Allah, which I mentioned yesterday. I mentioned in my yesterday's sermon, in yesterday's Dars Quran of Urdu, that the inmates of hellfire will make 5 requests to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of them, which is today in Surah Ibrahim. In Surah Ibrahim, And this is, Allah will make, the inmates of hellfire will make 5 requests to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. 4 requests will be responded by Allah. Allah will respond to them upon the 4 requests. And the 5th, when they will make the request, Allah will say to them, وَلَا تُكَلِّمْ, do not speak to me. Never speak to me. And after that, they will never able to speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they will bark like dogs in the hellfire. They will not able to talk to one another, but they will keep on barking. And no one will come to, rescue them. And no one who will help them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say to the angel, close the Jahannam, close the doors of the Jahannam, and let them suffer from what they are suffering. So my respected elders and my young brothers, the whole purpose of these Darsi Qur'ans, Darsi Ahadith is taking place in the masajid, the ulama, and all these brothers who are going around calling us for the prayers. Why are they calling? So that we prepare ourselves for the akhirat. The day before, there's a hadith of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You know what he says? When a person dies, when the angels come, everyone regrets at that very moment. The good doer and also the wrong doer. Everyone at the time of death regrets. How? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam explained, the wrongdoers he regrets. I wish I had done something good. I wish I repented to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And a good doer also regrets. And he regrets upon what? He regrets, I wish I could have done more. I could have done more. Today we Muslims, we are competing one another in the worldly affairs. In the worldly affairs. But we are not competing one another in the religious affairs. If somebody is reciting the Quran and we see him, he's reciting the Quran, we should compete. We should envy this person. We should envy that he's reading Quran. I should read Quran. If he's reading 1 juz a day, I should read 2 juz a day. He's coming to the masjid, I should come to the masjid. He spends more time in the masjid, I should even spend more time in the masjid. But this is not happening. What's happening is, if he has a good car, expensive car, I need to have that car. This is what we are competing one another. He has gone in a good area, I need to be in the area. This is what's happening here, my young brothers and my elders. But we have forgotten Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have become heedless of our akhirat. We have become heedless of our qabr. No matter how many janazah we read, in a day and night, so many funeral prayers, take place when we read. Even we go to the qabristan, we go to cemetery, we see the deceased being buried. Even with our own hands, we bury him. We lay in the qabr, and yet nothing's affecting us. Still, we are talking about the affairs. Even while we are in the qabristan, while we are, the grave is in front of us, and still we are talking about the qabristan. And even in the masjid, we are talking about the worldly affairs. What are the masajids built for? What are the a sahabi, a Bedouin, once he came to, he was a Bedouin. He just newly entered into Islam, and yet he never knew the adab of the masajid. And what happened? He just moved and he went to one of the corners and started urinating in the masjid. He started urinating in the masjid. So Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Sahaba Ikram, they were annoyed. They wanted to teach him a lesson. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam intervened. He said, leave him. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam walked to the person and he said, look, the masajid have been erected and they are built to establish the prayers and for the dhikr of Allah, to recite the Quran. But what's happening in the masajid nowadays? If we are talking in the masajid of our religion, then that's good. But if we are talking of our worldly affairs in the masjid, then believe me, the amals which we have done, the good amals, they are all wasted. They are gone into waste. They are gone into waste. The talking of worldly affairs in the masjid burns our good deeds. Burns our good deeds. It takes time to do a good deed. It requires an effort. It requires a time. And you've done so much, and then by just talking of worldly affairs in the masjid, your good deed has gone now. It's wasted now. So my respected young brothers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is warning us that a day is coming when people will say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, oh Allah, just give us a respite for a little period. Let us go back into the dunya so that we can do the righteous deeds, and we follow your guidance, and we respond to your call, and we follow your prophets. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that very day He will not listen to our request. Today we have the time to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Today we have the time to come close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Today we have the time to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As soon as the angel of death comes, then the book of the deeds is closed. Now the book of deeds is open now. Everything is being recorded. So my respected young brothers and elders, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us this life. And this life, when it is going to end, nobody knows. Nobody knows. And in this day and age, the sudden deaths are taking place. We hear so-and-so went to work and never returned alive. We hear someone went to bed and never woke up in the morning. We hear someone was traveling and he passed away. He passed away. So many people went to other countries and they passed away there. So my respected young brothers and elders, nobody knows when he will be going, when his end of the life is going to be. So intelligent and a wise person is who always preparing himself for the akhirat. And how we prepare ourselves for akhirat? Come to the masajid, sit in these gatherings if you have a time, remember Allah, recite the Quran, do the dhikr, and then we can hope for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we can hope for Allah that inshallah when our death will come, it will come in a state that we will leave this dunya with iman. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to take all of us from this dunya with iman, and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our sitting and make it means of our forgiveness. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةٌ وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةٌ وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ وَتُبْ عَلَيْنَا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ التَّوَّابُ الرَّحِيمُ وصلى الله على خير خلقه محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين برحمته